So the Cup of Joe lesson title is called Strategic Reflection. We all know the importance of reflecting on how our day went, how the week went. We all know the importance of reflecting on how the year went, right? We all hear this preached to us over and over again at the end of the year, and doing a lot of journaling and so forth. And I've been up and down with reflecting. I try to keep to it. I've tried to have like a weekly review for so long now, and I keep up with it for a while, but over time I tend to make it a little bit more complicated. I try to add too much. I read a few blog posts by some people that I admire and see what they're doing, and I really like their system, and I'll try to model it and copy it, and it just becomes too bloated, and it's just something I can't stick with. Well, this strategic reflection process that I read this blog post about, I'm going to share with you today, is the only one I've been able to stick to, and I think it's because of its simplicity, and it has all of the elements that you need for a solid strategic review. So let me give you a little backstory here. There was this article, how Anne-Laurie Lecomte wrote 200 articles in 1 year. Now, of course, that headline right there caught me by surprise, and I'm like, let me lean into that a little bit, okay? So this is somebody who's obviously being super productive, writing 200 articles in a year, and what I came to find in this article, in this workflow of hers, was a process that caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to learn so much out of it, and I really resonated with the same sort of sentiment that she had about this mindful productivity that she called it. She says, just like I mentioned a second ago, most people know the benefits of journaling. You read any self-development blog and you will stumble on at least one article telling you why keeping a journal will change your life. She says the problem is most people can't build the habit. And this was me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I can't build the habit. We know we should keep a journal. Yes, I've said that many times. I know the value. I believe in the value of it. But we don't know how to keep a journal. She says, I've tried for most of the journaling methods out there, the 1 line a day, the free writing, the doodling, the bullet journal, and none worked for me. None that felt goal-oriented enough, and some of them required too much work. Again, I'm raising my hand here. So she said she made this dead simple journaling method, and it's worked for her, and I've been trying it. She says it all comes down to this mindful productivity, about taking a step back, making the time for reflection, making sure that your goals are aligned with what you want to achieve in your life. Your week shouldn't be about getting a lot done, but about doing the things that really matter. That's how you know whether or not you're succeeding. And I've talked about this time and time again here, about us being busy but not effective. Us feeling like we've been busy all day long, but then you kind of look back at your day and you're like, did I actually accomplish anything? Did I move any of my projects forward? Well, this simple little journaling method solves a lot of that. Again, the strategic reflection here is very purposeful, keeping you aligned, keeping you on track, and she credits the success of being able to write these 200 articles to this reflection. And so let me share with you exactly how it works. It's so super simple. It's almost hard to believe. She says she basically writes down 3 things: what worked, what didn't, and what's next. So she says you can simply open any kind of notebook, and I love this because it doesn't have to be fancy. You can do this on your computer, you can do it in your notes app on your phone, or you can just do it on an extra piece of paper. You open your notebook, write the date at the top of the page, and draw 3 columns. At the top of each column, you write a plus for what worked, a minus for what didn't go well, and an arrow for what you plan to do next. It covers all 3 of the major bases there, right? It's so simple, and that's the part that I love about it. Now let me open up here the next, just a couple examples that she shares of kind of like what it would look like. All right, so you got a plus column, right? This is what worked. You look back at your previous, now you can do this daily or you can do this weekly. I choose to do it kind of weekly. You can choose like what worked. Some examples she had here was a podcast, 2 new contractors, new sponsor, made progress on a course. So just a couple words, just to jog this is your own benefit, right? Just to jog your memory of, oh yeah, this is what went well, right? So you're celebrating your wins, which for us high achievers, for us that are super motivated, hard on ourselves, perfectionists, okay? I'm raising my hand over here. This can be hard to do. to remind ourselves to celebrate the things that went well. Because so often we're focused on the next column, right? Which is the minus column, the what didn't go so well. Okay, and go ahead and put those in there, because what you want to do is reflect on this and be strategic about what you're going to do next, right? So here you're looking at what didn't go well. In this example, missed 2 gym sessions, late on some stuff, and then of course you can have personal elements in here as well. So this can be personal, this can be business, whatever you want to add. And then the next, what's next column, the arrow. All right, so in this example, go to gym 3 times, work on the course 1 hour each day, block 3 hours for accounting. And so you're kind of looking at, okay, what didn't go so well and how can I change that next week? How can I be strategic about making moves, making strategic plays to make sure I don't have these things in the minus column on the next week? Right, so super simple. Again, here's like a paper edition of this, right? So it doesn't have to be hard. You don't have to be an artist to accomplish this, right? You're just drawing a couple lines, plus, minus, and then your arrow. Okay, here's another example. Finished exams that went well, went to the gym 5 times. In the minus column, didn't call mom. Gotta call the mom, right? Gotta see how she's doing. This is kind of the things that maybe you had intended to do, right? We all have good intentions, but this is where you become honest with yourself. This is the honesty column here. This is the column where you can't lie to yourself. You've got to put down, hey, what did I intend to do, but I didn't do? Maybe it's a fault of your own. Maybe you procrastinated. Maybe you had technology issues. Maybe it's because of the weather. Whatever it is, just put it here. That way you can't lie to yourself. You've got to be accountable. And then the arrow column, all right? Set your goals for the next week. Make them realistic. So you didn't call mom? Call mom next week, right? You didn't work on that course? Why not? How can you change that? So I love here, block 5 hours for course, right? Didn't get to work on the course last week. Why not? Well, next week I'm gonna actually block out time on my calendar. So you're doing this kind of strategic review. I like to do this even as the week goes on. I kind of keep my notebook handy. So like, for instance, I've got my running list here. Again, as you can see, just 3 simple columns. Easy, right? I don't have to feel like I have to make it overly pretty or not. So, you know, for me, last week, went to the gym 5 times, was in the plus column, right? Quality time with the family. I took the afternoon off on Friday to go to spend some time with my kids on their spring break. We did some family outings, you know, I felt good about that. But in my minus column, you know, I didn't make progress on a course that I'm working on. I had tech issues that slowed me down. Some of these things, you know, I'm not gonna really be able to do anything about. I just need to, if I can, maybe I can troubleshoot that, right? I might put that on the list for next week. So next week, again, I'm just borrowing from the example there in that blog post. I need to time block on my calendar specific times when I'm gonna work on the course that I didn't get to work on last week. So sometimes during the week, I tend to forget as the week goes on some of the wins. And so sometimes just I'll add up the plus column of the things that went well or are currently going well, right? So, hey, I got this training session in without any tech hiccups. I might add this to the plus column this week, okay? So it can just be super simple. So a quick recap, just to leave you with this. You're writing basically what worked with the plus, whatever went well, whatever made you happy, what didn't, any negative events or inaction on your part. Again, I like that, inaction on your part. Think of the things you intended to do, think of your good intentions, and then write these in the honest column. Did you do them? And then what's next? Plans for the following week. Strategic reflection made just about as easy as possible. And heck, can you imagine just this little strategic reflection exercise, this little journaling? How long do you think it would really take you? I mean, what if you set a timer? You know, I'm a huge fan of timers. If you have any resistance to doing this, just set a timer for 5 minutes, do a quick brain dump, whatever comes to you. 5 minutes. What if that could be the difference of you accomplishing more next week? What if that could be the difference between those who are really pushing forward, those who are really making a difference, and those who are just winging it? We know we've got to have a plan. We know we should have reflection. So hopefully this helps you. This has helped me a ton. And for those of you who can relate to the struggles of keeping the habit of journaling, maybe you've made it too big and bloated like I tend to do. Super simple. Plus, minus, and an arrow. So hopefully this helps you. I tend to really need to keep it on paper as much as I want to add it in my notes app on my phone, which I've tried, trust me. For some reason, it just doesn't connect the same way, and it just doesn't have the same benefit. So I encourage you to grab a piece of scrap paper and just do this simple exercise. Let me know how it goes. All right, Unchained Riders, I'm going to let you get back to it. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Always a pleasure being here with you. Look forward to being back with you next time. And until then, we're cheering for you. Bye, everyone.